This May, Pennsylvania's community action agencies are joining together with community organizations to hold a series of forums that will focus attention on how communities can work together to help families across the Keystone State achieve economic success. The Family and Community Forums will gather a cross-section of individuals from over 20 different locations across the state to discuss how resources in the community can be pooled to help eliminate poverty. The catalyst to start the discussion on poverty at each of the forums is an interactive poverty simulation developed by the Missouri Association for Community Action.
Where am I supposed to go now?
The simulation places up to 80 participants into a role as a member of one of 26 different low-income families. Individuals must attempt to maintain their households, provide for their children, and advance their lives as they attempt to navigate from poverty to self-sufficiency. The hour-long simulation is broken into 4 15-minute weeks. During the 4 weeks, families will be faced with various challenges that confront low-income families in their communities every day. Once the poverty simulation begins, there is no set script, and it's up to the participants to make decisions as a family in hopes of achieving economic success.
As our family started out, we had $10 and enough transportation passes to go to one location, and so we simply had to have a discussion about even how to begin, which was very difficult. Really didn't have any appreciation for what people who are in need of one kind or another have to go through to even begin to get assistance.
With a small amount of planning, a poverty simulation for your community is a relatively easy endeavor. After your organization obtains a poverty simulation kit, the next step is to secure a location for the simulation. It is recommended that organizers secure around 3,000 square feet of space for the simulation, roughly the size of a basketball court. Harrisburg Area School District used their middle school's gymnasium for a simulation they held in conjunction with CAP member, the Community Action Commission. A large meeting room of this size on the campus of Westchester University worked well for a 2008 poverty simulation held by the Delaware County grant makers and CAP member, the Chester County Department of Community Development. Once a location is secured, organizers should recruit between 20 and 25 resource volunteers who will work at various stations that make up the simulated community. Volunteers will play the roles of government workers, police officers, and business owners who emulate the structure of communities across the nation. Members from the community can then be recruited as participants in the poverty simulation. The experience is relevant to everyone, from board members to politicians, from local school teachers to administrators. On the day of the simulation, the staging area should be set up with information packets in place at least 5 hours prior to start time. Setting up the area a day before or earlier is recommended. Resource volunteers should arrive 3 hours prior to the simulation to receive training from a certified poverty simulation facilitator. This time will give the volunteers the opportunity to understand the rules of the simulation and provide time to practice at their stations, so they know what will be expected from them during the experience. This time also provides the opportunity to check that all material relevant to each station is present and ready for the day's events. Poverty simulation participants should arrive 1 hour before the simulation. As people arrive, they should be escorted to their assigned family areas. The facilitator will administer a brief overview of events and the poverty simulation will begin.
It's not like going to the store where you run in and grab what you need and get out. There's bureaucracy, there's red tape, there's seemingly unexplainable delays, and the next thing you know, there's 5 things you didn't get done, and it's very easy to get far behind either simply paying a bill or meeting some obligation from maybe a bad letter you got in the mail and something you needed to get done. When you're involved at the board level, you do get kind of caught up in the campaign, the raising of the money, and you do become a bit distant from what it's all about, and that is pouring the money back into the community to change these kinds of situations as rapidly as we possibly can. I think it's one of the best programs I've ever personally been through. As far as being able to completely empathize with someone else's situation very quickly. In an hour, we all went through a lot of stress, understanding what the challenges are daily.
I don't know yet. I just got here. I just came.
It's a very, very valuable tool, and a valuable tool in just helping people understand what others have to deal with, and not taking that for granted, and knowing that it's very real to try to make a budget off of pennies or nothing, and having to decide which bills to pay, and what your family will have to go without. It's pretty difficult.
At the conclusion of the simulation, the facilitators and staff from the local community action agency will lead participants in a structured conversation on their thoughts after experiencing the poverty simulation. Participants will then be asked to use the experience to open a dialogue on poverty in their communities and come up with ways to partner resources to aid low-income individuals. With this May's Family and Community Forum, Community Action and our network of statewide partners would like everyone throughout the state to join the discussion on how to raise families to economic success. By revealing to communities the hardships low-income families face, Community Action hopes to create partnerships and build relationships that will bring an end to disparity felt by families across the state of Pennsylvania.